Time sure flies when you're having fun. John and Sally are celebrating their 6-month anniversary. Sally knows exactly what she's getting John for a gift.
Well, there's an auction today for an actual Arthur Conan Doyle first edition.
Sherlock Holmes. Oh, that's nice.
Volume 7. John has all the others.
That's a serious gift. I've never figured out why, but first editions are a big deal. As far as I know, I've never actually owned one, and there's a reason for that.
Where are you going to get the money?
Well, I'll sell something.
What?
Something.
What are you going to sell?
Something very beautiful that I've always had.
You gonna sell your body?
That's the reason I've never owned one. Nobody wants to buy my body.
Something older than that.
My body?
No, I'm going to sell my great-grandmother's brooch.
Oh, Sally. That's been in your family forever.
Well, I'm tired of it.
Who are you kidding? You love that brooch.
Yeah. Well,
But this is how genuine love works. You give, and you give, and you give. Not because you expect something back or because you feel obligated. You give because you love the other person and want to make them happy. The brooch is a thing. John is the love of her life. She did the math.
hello, Sally. Mrs. Elkins. I've been expecting you.
Denise, dear, why don't you just take a look around and see if there's anything that you would like,
All right, right this way.
Thank you.
Maybe I can help you. Maybe we like the same things.
Going by Denise, I'm going to guess that Mrs. Elkins married her cousin.
Bread and butter.
So we can start with that.
Oh, wow. I thought people stopped doing that in the 50s.
Bread and butter, 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 bread and butter.
It used to be a thing that if two people walked around an obstacle on opposite sides like that, both were supposed to say bread and butter when they met at the other end. If you ask me why, I will stare at you as if you have two heads. I don't know what would make anybody think I know. What I can tell you is that clip was from 1939. And somewhere around 1963, 64, 65 or so, when I saw that cartoon for the first time, my mother had to explain it to me. While Jerry puts the moves on Denise, Sally sells her brooch to the lady.
Here's my check.
And here's my brooch.
Oh, Sally, it's exquisite, even better than I expected.
Thank you.
And thank you. Denise, if you don't want to shop, let's go.
All right, Mother.
I gotta go to my car, too. I'll walk you out.
Jerry is so nice and helpful sometimes, isn't he?
Sally, John's going to be so unhappy when he finds out you sold that brooch.
Well, then he won't find out I stole the brooch. There's only 3 people in the world who know about it.
That's right.
You,
me, Jerry.
Yeah, correction. 2 regular people and Jerry. They catch him and swear him to secrecy, as if that'll help. The thing is, the book is at an auction. Sally has a certain amount of money, and if the bidding goes beyond it, she sold the brooch for nothing.
We come to catalog number 22, volume 7, the first edition of the works of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
I really don't remember the last time I saw Carl Ballantyne. I know him as Seaman Gruber, the super-duper hustler on McHale's Navy, who always had some kind of game going on the side. Example, when comedian Jerry Colonna came to their base with the USO, Gruber made a bunch of money selling Jerry Colonna mustaches. His voice and demeanor are unmistakable. He often played a semi-shady character like Gruber, but today he's an auctioneer. He could occasionally play a straight role.
Let's start the bidding at $50.
50.
I have 50. Do I hear 60?
60.
I have 60.
What's the matter?
I can read him. He really wants that book a lot.
I have 70. Do I hear 80?
80.
90.
$100.
$100 is the bid.
Sally only has 200 to bid with, and she knows that guy is willing to go as high as 400. I have a feeling Mrs. Elkins lowballed the price of the brooch. Jerry says, "Don't worry, leave it to me."
Boy, what a ripoff trying to get that for volume 7.
He has the gentleman's interest.
You're discussing volume 7 of this edition?
Yeah.
190. Do I hear 200?
And there's a bookstore near here where I can buy it?
Yeah, Bert's Books. It's a discount bookstore, and they sell all first editions as long as they ain't rare.
He says they have several copies of that book for a lot less. The man hesitates just long enough for Sally to win the bid.
Of course, I could be wrong.
I got it.
You got it.
You got nice height.
I got it.
Let's get out of here before I get it.
Of course, I could be wrong. Next time I feed someone a load of hogwash like that, I have to remember that exit line. That takes care of John's gift, and he's crazy about it. How crazy?
You could turn out the light now.
Yeah. In just a minute, huh?
John, you have all day tomorrow to read it.
Yeah.
John.
Sally isn't as much of a book nut as some of us are. I'd be willing to bet that one smells as good as it reads. Old books have an aroma all their own, and you either love it or you hate it.
Watson could tell by his narrowed eyes that Holmes was deeply lost in a concentration from which he could not be distracted.
As usual, Watson was wrong.
Oh,
Yeah, read that, John. So what is he getting Sally? He rightly says he hasn't even thought about it, because if he does, she'll know what it is. The following day, he has the answer.
You know that brooch that she likes so much, that old brooch?
Yeah?
I think if she made it into a pendant, she could use it even more. She loves that thing. Isn't that a great idea?
Yeah, John, I got a secret.
What?
Worm it out of me.
No, why?
Go ahead, trick me like you usually do.
Come on, dear, I don't want to.
Come on, get me to tell you.
Don't be silly. I don't want to know.
Okay, you win, I'll tell you. Get your money back on that chain.
What?
Because Sally sold that brooch to get the money to buy your book.
How many times have we seen Hollywood use this plot? John says we have to get it back. Too bad Jerry can't remember anything about the lady who bought it. Well, he remembers one thing.
I remember her clearly. She had a beautiful daughter, about 5'4", a great body, and a real pretty dimple, a lot like your dimple.
Don't describe the daughter.
Well, I figure if you find a chick that looks like that, the old lady won't be too far away.
Jerry remembers the thing that's least useful to John. Maybe Annie can help.
Look, Anne, we haven't got much time. I've got to get it back for Sally. Now, what can you tell me about the woman who bought the brooch?
Yes. She's got a daughter with a body you wouldn't believe.
What'd I tell you?
Is that all you know?
That's all I know. Except I do know her name, Mrs. Elkins, because she came into the store once before and she bought something.
That means her information should be in the files at the store.
Will you pull in the next gas station, please?
Why didn't you think of that before we left the club?
Well, I'm glad I thought of it now. I just remembered I don't have a date for tomorrow night, and I want to call the beautiful and lovely Denise.
You've got Denise's number?
Yeah.
Well, why didn't you say so?
Every time I mention her name, you yelled at me.
Or maybe it doesn't occur to Jerry that he already has it. Let's go visit the Elkins.
Good evening, sir.
Can I help you?
Yes, I'd like to speak to Mrs. Elkins, please.
Well, I'm sure you can speak to Mrs. Elkins. The trick is to get her to speak to you.
Yes. Well, what is it, young man?
No trick at all.
Jane Meadows was a Hollywood legend. Aside from her movie appearances, her time on Broadway, and her success as a character actor on television, she clinched her fame when she married comedian Steve Allen and became a fixture on the game show circuit. Her infectious smile and bubbly personality made her a favorite everywhere she went. She was born to missionary parents in China in 1919. She grew up speaking Chinese, and when the family brought her to the United States when she was about 11, she had to learn English. They settled in Connecticut, where she developed her trademark New England accent. She and Steve Allen were a Hollywood oddity since they stayed married for 46 years and would have kept going, except he had the bad sense to die in 2000. I like to highlight relationships like that. It says that serial divorce isn't necessarily a requirement for being famous.
I would like to buy
Thank you for coming.
the brooch. I would like to buy the brooch back.
Oh?
And I'll make it well worth your while, of course.
And that's why you came here, is that it?
Yes, that's why.
Well, it is out of the question.
That could have gone better. Jerry is having more success.
You weren't kidding when you said you'd be right over. But, you could have changed.
Well, I didn't want to wait another minute.
Oh, Jerry, you're sweet.
That's true. I see you're wearing the brooch.
Uh-huh. I had no idea Mother was giving it to me as a birthday present.
And now we know why it's out of the question. Meanwhile, Sally is worried because it's getting late and she doesn't know where John is.
Something must be wrong.
Oh, no, I don't think so.
I'm gonna call the police.
No, I got a better idea.
What?
I don't know yet. But whatever it is, it's better.
It's a good thing she can't read, Annie, I think.
I'd just like to put this another way.
I certainly hope so.
Do you realize that the future happiness of a young couple depends entirely upon you?
The brooch is that important to you?
Yes, yes, it really is.
Well, now, young man, I would like you to take a look around you. The Picasso, the Chagall, the Louis XIV's furniture, the house.
Yes.
Well, now, do you think I got all this by allowing sentiment to interfere with what I want?
No, she got all that stuff by being selfish and materialistic. I do wonder what her husband thinks, assuming she didn't assassinate him so she could have all the stuff to herself.
Oh, something stuck me.
Oh, my brooch.
Oh, no wonder. That's a Burton brooch. It comes with a curse.
Curse?
Yeah, it's only superstition, though. Dead men's superstition.
What curse? Is it really a curse?
Yeah,
What is it?
I can't tell you.
Well, why?
It's not polite to curse in mixed company.
Jerry isn't the brightest candle in the room, but when he stands next to Denise, he looks like a rocket scientist. Of course, there's only one way to avoid the curse.
Excuse me. What do you mean, Jerry? They couldn't be worse.
Well, would it help any if I told you that I got the brooch?
From who?
From the beautiful and lovely Denise.
Cher, how'd you do it?
I use psychology, superstition.
Yeah.
Had a little ingredient of my own. Oh, your battleship, I didn't bring a wrap.
Guys don't usually wear them anyway. And I have got to find an occasion to call someone your butlership. John will leave Mrs. Elkins to her fancy trappings, her phony friends who are just there to be seen, and go home to where they know what loving another person more than yourself is like.
Oh, John, it's lovely.
And you know that brooch that you like so much? I know you've always wanted to make it into a pendant. Why don't you go get it? We'll see how it looks.
John, there's something I've got to tell you. You sneak! John, you got me my brooch back.
All is well, and I predict that Mrs. Elkins is so far up her own Chagall, she won't even notice Denise isn't wearing the brooch anymore.
What are you guys up to? Well, in exchange for removing the curse and the brooch, I'm now giving Denise music lessons.
I've always wanted to play the flugelhorn.
Who hasn't?
Everybody's got a nickname for it.
Right.
I suppose, Jerry, you're giving her some special discount, huh?
Yes, 50 cents the less that I wanted to be generous.
At that rate, it's gonna take forever.
Oh, no. The lessons go pretty fast. This afternoon, I've already had a couple.
Jerry says it's going well enough that next week they may even buy a flugelhorn. Hogwash like that. Hogwash, I can say that. Guys don't use them. Yeah, now get it right.